Two, three. We're live.
Good night, good night, good night, good night to our viewers and listeners, both at home and abroad. Again, welcome to our 94th edition of Belizean Affairs. Sitting with me virtually is a co-host, Mr. Leonard Brackett, and we should be joined by Gregory anytime now. And I'll be your chairman for tonight. So, as always, we start our program with a prayer and then a reading. And we go straight to the prayer. Leonard, my brother, can you lead
Yes,
us
sir.
in a prayer tonight,
Thank you very
please?
much, sir. My name is Leonard Brackett, and I'll be doing the prayer for tonight. We just go ahead for a second. Divine loving Father, we thank thee for this privilege to come before thy presence once more. We thank thee for having spared our lives and having given us the opportunity to be around our friends and loved ones. Please help us that whatever we do on this program tonight, may it accrue benefits to our countrymen, Belizeans at home and abroad, and the rest of humanity. Please continue to bless us, guide us, and protect us. Bless our leaders that they may lead our country in the right way. And please bless this country of the United States and the rest of humanity, especially those people who are being hurt for no justifiable reasons sometimes. We pray that the must continue to be with us now and always. For Christ's sake, we pray these mercies. Amen.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, Greg.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Greg.
Welcome to you guys.
And
I'll go ahead
Leonard,
and
can
do
you
the
do the word, please?
yes, sir. Uh, I'm going to be reading from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1. Verse 1 says, My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For long, for length of days and long life and shall peace shall they add to thee. Amen. Greg,
Thank
for
you.
tonight, we're just gonna let Mr. Wade take a couple of
Thank you.
minutes before we play the music before we go into the regular program. For him to take a few minutes to just speak to the people of the Twin Tongue, no? Mr. Wade,
Thank you. Thank
talk
you,
to us for
Leonard.
the
Greg, you
chairman.
want to introduce yourself to my brother, please? Thank you.
Good night to the Belizean people at home and abroad. Welcome to this our 94th edition of Belizean Affairs. Sitting with me virtually is my co-host, is the chairman for tonight, Mr. Roody, and my good cousin, Mr. Leonard Brackett. With that said, back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Gregory. And like I say, it's always a pleasure to be sitting virtually with you guys. And I'm honored. You know, um, like I always say on this show, we are about people and nation. And we talk about things that directly affect our people on a daily basis. And as far as I can remember, since we started this program, we have talked about issues that directly have affected our people, and for some justifiable reason, the powers to be hear our cries through this medium, and some things happen. So I'm glad for that, and we continue to do such. We continue to be the voice for our people, and we call out when we see wrong. We call out the wrongs. If we see right, they do good, we say they are doing good for our people, right? So I don't want people to get carried away that we are one-sided. And I give thanks and praise to the Almighty that myself, Leonard, and Gregory is not afraid to call out the ills in our country, right? And we do not show no favoritism by speaking out of the issues to any political party, right? So I just want to make that clear, because there are some people who say, when we say or speak on certain things, they say, oh yeah, they are one-sided, either lean towards the left or lean towards the right. No. And for the record, no one pays us to do what we do. Whatever we do it from the heart.
Amen.
And service to our people. And I'm glad that whatever we advocate through this medium, is of some beneficiary to the poor and less fortunate, because we are advocate. And I always try to do a little reflection, right? My people, just a little reminder where we at. Please not forget the past, because the past is what got us in this predicament where we at right now. So what is new, right? What is new? Again, we can see that this present government government and opposition that we had elected to protect and serve us, they are in election mode. Their priority is fooling the people again, holding the people hostage because of their new promises that they are promising. And now you see them running like chickens with their head cut off. They're pushing streets, right? It's happening right now as I speak, right? Especially in my area, right? Like I always say, why wait until when there's few weeks for an election, whether it's general election, municipal election, or city council election. That's the time you see a little of your tax dollars working, which is, not right? So, I mean, these things is played out. It's absolutely played out. We deserve better. We deserve better with our tax dollars. We deserve better for the things that you say you are going to do, right? And you do not do it, right? We deserve better. But who is to blame? We got to blame ourselves, right? A lot of us Belizean here right now as I speak in Belize, that is home. I'm not talking about abroad, because they cannot come out and vote the way they want to vote, right? But we here that has the power in our hands to vote, for some reason, we are afraid of change. Afraid. We stay getting crucified as soon as you elect your red counterparts. What they do to you? You elect the blue, the People's United Party. What they do to you? What they do for your community, right? I could tell you one thing. I know what they do for themselves and their friends and their families and cronies. And it's a repetitious cycle. Right now you have, I'm going into politics right now, because that is what eating up our country right now as I speak, because there is the election coming up not too long from March 6th, right? And our people again are being brainwashed, right? Now, as we speak, you see them running around, like I say, right? These things got to stop. You need to do the right thing. And I beg that these streets that you are pushing, because it affects me, right? These streets that you are pushing, you guys are only creating health hazard, because it comes with a lot of dust. The white mall that you guys throwing on the streets for the residents is not healthy, man. But I say this though, that is what you guys are doing. Please pave it. Cover that down so it keeps the dust down. And don't only do certain street, man, because in my area there's only certain street you guys are doing. There you go again, showing politics and favoritism. We all pay taxes. We all pay taxes in this country. So why not do the right thing? I beg of you, Mr. Government, do the right thing, man. I'd like to say this, that, you know, will your life be better with the People's United Party? That's a question I'm asking. Will your life be better with the United Democratic Party? That's a question I'm asking. But I give you the answer now. It's no, right? Because it's a repetitious cycle. And sadly, who will make it possible for them? You the voter, will make it possible for them, right? So I say, right, by this PUP government, we don't even have an opposition, because who is fighting for us, right? Look at the state of our economy, right? Look at the draconian laws they inflicted upon us, right? And where is the opposition? Do they oppose these laws that they pass against us? No, right? Look at our failing healthcare system, man. I don't know we talk about the failing healthcare system, right? And it's not now we talk about the CT scan that they got money like 3 or 4 times for to purchase. We don't get it yet, man, right? So what that to show you, right? It's failing, poverty. I mean, I hate to say this, because like I say, as I speak, there are families, there are children going to bed without eating right now as I speak, right? In this country, Mr. Prime Minister and the ruling government, if you don't know, and on the top about one of the curve poverty, so sad, man. Need to do better, right? Joblessness, you talk about the jobs you created, man. You don't create no jobs, right? You go to the BPO and big up yourself and give them incentive and tell them the workers there that you're going to give them land, right? You're going to give them a house lot. You don't create no job in this country, Mr. PUP government, right? Thanks to the BPO, and I welcome them, because that's how some families are being fed, right? By your employment, right? So I thank you. But for the Prime Minister to come bald-faced, says that he create jobs, man, that man is telling a lie again, right? Like he usually does, right? Now, look at the high cost of fuel, man, right? I think that I do a little research, Belize is one of the countries that has the highest fuel pricing in this country, right? Why does this Prime Minister not try to bring down the price of fuel, man? I know he is in the fuel business, right? But, have a little heart. You can do it, right? Basic food items, right? Look at the price of sugar, right? Shortage of sugar, right? I went in a village here that these trucks cross from Belizean to the Guatemalan border. We had like 7 trucks loaded, ready to go across the border, right? Some with cattle and some with sugar. It's a repetitious cycle. If the sugar could be leaving the country, right? Why? And why do we have shortage of sugar, right? You have the trucks that bring sugar from the north that comes to deliver to the retail stores here. I'm talking about my municipality. While these trucks are here, you have vehicles that comes from across the border loading up the sugar that was supposed to be delivered to this municipality, right? And who the police these things, man? Right? Who the police these things? And yet you hear about mouthful of rhetoric from the minister, Mr. Mai, the agriculture minister, right? About food security, right? Basic food items so high, people taking a licking out here. And yet we have the nepotism in this government. Past government too, right? Where they only their own needs a job. The other poor and less fortunate Belizean don't need no job, right? This corrupted system, both two corrupted party system need to go, right? Why not fully enact UNCAC? Why? I ask. What is the problem, right? And sadly, you know, who is to be blamed, right? We are part and parcel of the corrupted two-party system, right? That continues to suppress and keep us poor and dependent, right? And I'm talking real truth, right? I call on the government of the day to stop wasting the taxpayers' money. I say, if you are going to start fixing and grading, please do it right. Like I said before, right? If you're going to grade one street, grade it and pave it, right? Because that are what the silly people here today, that's an election gimmick, right? That I want to do to buy over votes, right? We need to stop it. Very not good, right? We the people need to stop supporting this two-party system, right? We need to stop it. What have they done for your community? Is your life better? Why not hold your party accountable if you call them out, right? Call them out, hold them accountable, right? Stop support them, right? Now I say, in this coming election, there are some independent uh, 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 individual running right in your area. Support these people, man, right? For change, the independent people are the only change. If you do not support these independent slate, you are doing a disservice again, right? And I call through this medium while I'm sitting here right now. Calling through this medium all you independent thinkers, right, who want to see a better Belize, right, who want change in this country. Put your name up now for the municipal election and don't be afraid, right? Put your name up now. And for up here in the West, I call on my people to support me for your mayor, for change, your independent mayor, right? Because I see a lot of wrong and I can fix it, right? They say if you don't steal the money, you could do wonders in your town and in your city, right? If you don't misplace it, you could do wonders, right? And I will be accountable to the residents of this town, right? And I will do right by them. And I will not only see red and blue and green, I will see all Belizean and all people. I will serve all people, right? So if you want that change, support Rudy Wade for your mayor in the upcoming municipal election.
Uh,
You will not be putting your vote in vain. You will see change.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead,
uh, can I say
Leonard.
something? Um, Personally, I have been a old war horse in the political arena of my country from way back in the early 60s. As a matter of fact, from way back in the 50s, I remember I used to carry my grandmother wooden stool because make you go sit down, go listen to meeting the um, Courthouse Wharf,
Cinderella Plaza.
Cinderella Plaza, Majestic Theater, um, Pong Yard, you know. So I'm a veteran from when I was a little kid, but that in the early 50s. But from the middle 60s, when I really got involved seriously in politics, I was one of those persons that once I put my heart and my mind into something, I go for broke, I go all out. And I can tell you, as of today, yet I'm still involved in the affairs of my country, in one way or another. But that, from my perspective, I'm happy that Mr. Wade is not just a talker, but he's willing to do the walking. But he can only walk that walk appropriately and bring the results that he would like to offer to his community if you, the members of the community, are willing to give him a break. Because no care how much he talks about these issues and complains about these issues, like yourselves who talk and complain about them, every 5 years, the general election, when you go out and vote for people who are giving you well, you $20, $50, $100, while you plate of food and a cup of beer. And that's good enough for for the next 5 years. When town board and city council election, then treat you the same, just that they give you less. Because presumably the stakes are less. I think it's high time that people in the community start to look at other candidates who may not have no resource to give them no beer and no food and no money, but who have a good heart and good intentions for using the tax dollars for giving what one deserve. Like Mr. Weir said, if the money is not stolen or misappropriated or misused, they should be able to have enough money to do the right thing on behalf of the community. To clean the streets, to clean the drains, to build more streets, to work with central government to get other things done. People are paying taxes for their property. So where should that money go that they pay for taxes for the property? Just in the salaries for the employees then? And then the money get misappropriated or mismanaged. And then, as we found out in PG just recently, as a matter of fact, even the central government no want to go audit the books because they know the people, the councillors don't complain. They know that something was wrong, and they don't want to appear. They don't want the party members look bad, so then just brush it under the cover. You need new people, and unless you elect new people, you end up to get the same shenanigans over and over and over. And so, Mr. Weir, I just want to big you up, sir. I don't want to take up too much of your time because we have the program to launch. No? And I just want to say that I appreciate you very much.
Thank you
For your commitment, your drive, your motivation, and your willingness to put yourself out there. Because believe me, to put yourself out there as a politician is not an easy thing, which is why most people now try to do it.
Guys, give me 3 more minutes.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I asked my people, thank you, Leonard. Thank you for, that input, right? I asked my people, is this the way you want your children and your grandchildren to keep living? The seniors of this nation, right? Try to turn a new leaf, man, in terms of how you elect people. Please, your grandchildren, your children are suffering, right? We see the crime and violence. We see the joblessness. We see the total ills in this country, and all 98% of these things that is happening in this country are contributed and created by the government of the day, by failing, right? To see that, man? These people constantly they fail, right? What do you have to lose to elect a new entity other from the People's United Party and the UDP? I tell you, if you guys ever tried, got nothing to lose, I mean, we are already poor. You think they make us poorer? We're already poor. What do you have to lose? Try something new this coming election, man. Right? Now I observed something quickly. I observed something blowing up on Facebook recently. Like now, our social security dollars is being used to buying land, namely in Secret Beach. Big signs, social property of social security. Property of social security. They are buying lands with their social security dollars. That's something that needs to be talked about and explored, right?
Mr.
Why?
Chairman, on that point, Social Security should not be taking the employees' money when they're paying. If you go buy new land, if you go try to turn around, dispossess Belizeans of the land and sell it out to other people who are coming and getting a little profit on the side. Because it's a
And
scheme and a
maybe
scam. It's a scheme and a scam. It's not about making money to pay the people the benefit when they deserve.
And maybe we don't
Thanks,
know,
man.
we only see that sign. We don't know whose name that land is in, right? And I leave that as that. People, again, I
Man.
want to stress that beware when you're giving up information to the police, right? Because when you go and give up information to the police about known criminals, these criminals are well connected.
With the same
And we're
police
seeing a
department.
trend in this country that some of these people that are giving up information are being hurt. Okay? So that's just something that I want to throw out there, right? So also, right, we got to be very, very careful doing that. And sadly, our justice system, right, I do not see why we have to employ all these foreign judges when we have our very own here, right? And let them come and enjoy all the sweets and all the perks and everything in this country, who knows nothing about our laws in this country and our culture, right?
Mr. Chairman,
So,
could we make that part of the formal program after we launch so we could discuss it further? So because Greg is awaiting to do our music and make we launch the program now, and
so
we could
no,
use that as part of a formal
I just
program.
want to finish off, right, by saying that, you know, there are lots of ills in this country, right, that we need to address, and especially what's going on up north and down south, which down south is a hotbed of you know, a lot of problems going on right now with my people down south, and we will talk about that. Take it away, Greg.
Our music, Greg?
Well said, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you for well put together input. But I would also like to say, based on what you just said, I would like to ask the question, what is the difference between the Caneros and the electors of Belize? Let me give you the answer. They can't get a deal every 2 years, and we can't get a government to work. With that said, let's go to our first music.
We want everybody. We want everybody. Give me some of your everybody. Give me some of that cassava. We want everybody. We want everybody. Give me some of your everybody. Give me some of that cassava. Sunday morning, me wake up with me fish, make a cook up in hotel.
So it?
Thank you, Greg.
Turning it back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, thank you, Greg. You know, Greg, you know, I want you to put up the latest development down south. What's going on there between Emery Grove and the Mayan land rights people, Mayan claim, right? We will discuss that. But
Tyril, nakikalakan ulukan. Kasalakwan, ay makahecheku.
Pwesaleku kanakwan sho kulung sho abing kelukin lesh alepalesh sho abing arin corazon ut kwankeb lik alepal mabila San Lucas ut corazon ut anakwan kwaikeb li alcad li chairman de li alepal hungkung de li San Lucas mabila ut corazon ut anakwan okebech achinak chirisha mayalon polisi anakwan.
Kahokre na kokain na shokulung. Sirapin kun li chara li George stik ebal li agwabe basli na kwek asali chol na muko tingkulu anda li hung kilomet li shnahtil jirish li ka tanamit kokana kni jere li ka agwabe George angelak nak hink ana kakuluan li pargwan kli nakak Haanak li ka naah li ak joko chi ajinak chirish achakra bain akiske ma khunsut cho ajinak chirish nak laot sho okre aina chakra kirisish khunesri nak khun kilometro ki chirish katanamit khokanak ink anak ulupan bas ko arin mabila Corazon ut San Lucas, koyeb li chairman li alkal ut lain aran kwangkin se mabila kokana klins ama jiru li ka kwabe re katanamit belis nak inka tishnumsi ha chakra ain nak khun kilometro kwi tots ak ut kokana li ka representant li George Ilokhe li George Kwang aran se kolom nakanaw anihin o banu sila nis abachaku tek aho kaya nakanaah muko jokot amakil katumina gwe rahlal joko banchis je ala gwe nak catch out aparkwan kanakok ang halak kui anakok ang halak chiru kokanak nis amachaku anu silal teng aho ha chankiru nak shakwak nak syakateng kokanak wi nakak nak tuateng uta chakra bai na jokesh chirisingkil jirisikil akwabeh ik anaka basa nakwan tayril nakhik anak uluban basa nakwan ay makahecheku Makaya chakra bai na kiskena khun kilometro ki re katanamit sutam. Basanarah se balan shna akhi kui ajokach e balke. Mukojota ke hom kalokal kokana anakwan makah ajo akutum chikunak makah kalokal kwang kalokal.
Wow. There you go, guys.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to bring to your attention the power these people are showing. The Prime Minister wants to up a definitive agreement. And now here we go. The Mayan people really are throwing up a policy that the government wants to put through. I give this floor back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Greg. There you go, Leonard. As much as you could see, that I gave you 5 minutes, Leonard, to elaborate on that, my brother.
You wouldn't mind if I asked Greg to pick up from where the tape left off, no, in terms of him taking that part of the program and run, because I get a sense of what was going on, but not fully, and I was trying to read the wordings, the English translation, but they were too small. That's why I don't know if anybody saw that. I was I couldn't make
listen now. Listen.
I like to speak on the first hand.
Yes.
And I didn't pick up all of it. So if Greg could elaborate, that would help us.
I surely can. With your permission, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Greg. Go
The
ahead.
Maya people is upset that the government is trying to give them 1 kilometer around their village, which is one
Yeah.
mile. They're saying that they will not accept that. They want all the land that they occupy and work on. I give it back to you, my cousin.
Uh,
That's basically what they're
uh-huh,
saying
uh-huh.
there.
I got that much. I got that much. Um, just exactly what Miss Dolores Valderramos, the minister responsible for that portfolio, had said. She did not understand why the Mayans were getting so far ahead of themselves, when in fact what the government was thinking about, and they had made various iterations of the same ideas, consulting back and forward, is that the Mayans were saying that the government wanted to give so many miles to them from the center of their village. When Ms. Valderramos was saying she don't know how they come up with the idea that the government was acceding to giving miles from the center of the village, when in fact the government was talking in a different measurement. She she was saying that the government was talking about 2 kilometers from the center of the village, which is not more than 2 kilometers is barely a little bit over a mile. Okay, it's not 2 miles; it's a lot less than 2 miles. 2 kilometers is a lot less than 2 miles. So even if they were to say two is the number that they're thinking of, and they're relating in terms of kilometers or miles, they're still thinking in terms of a wide difference. So based on what Ms. Valderramos was saying, the number was not a fixed number. The government was just putting documents together and putting papers together to make a proposal. It was not in a proposal from the government yet when it was being rejected. And why? Why it was being rejected? Because the government was consulting with the people before they put anything on paper. So they knew what the government idea was, that for the small villages, I mean, they were thinking about 2 kilometers average, but for the small villages, maybe it might be less. For the bigger villages, maybe it might be more. It wasn't a fixed number. That's what the minister said in her own words. We saw it here on our program a couple of times. So, as I stipulated before, if these people from the Mayan community, the ones that are advocating this treachery against we country, don't get their act together and start acting sensible, they're going to end up having a much bigger problem than they started out with. And they may end up with less than what they could have actually end up with by virtue of trying to fight the process, to the point where they won't feel so aggrieved that, like we saw just now, the man they tear up the paper. The government have many hundreds of thousands of copies that the government could make of that same paper. That wasn't the original that they gave him. So his thing when he did there was just the same thing like what the prime minister did. Tear up a copy, and the original right there waiting to be either to be either to be altered and modified positively or negatively, or to not do nothing at all about it, because the UDP government, when they were in power, that decree was in power already, or not decree, but the agreement for the way how to go forward to settle the matter was under the UDP. They left office, and the matter hadn't been resolved. Does the Maya think that if they continue to play hardball and try to play slick, that the present government have to, before the term finish, which is not too long from now, give to them what they want or resolve this matter how they want? Suppose the present government style them out like what the previous UDP government did. And how many other governments could come in and style them out year after year after year after year? Do they have no knowledge about what strategy and tactics is all about? Because that's what they're trying to play on us. But they don't figure out yet that the Belizean government is not as stupid as they're trying to make the Belizean government seem, whether under PUP or under UDP. The government is the Belizean people. It's not the officials them only. The officials are in charge of running the affairs of the people. So the Mayan community are part of the people of Belize. Well, at least the ones that we have been contending, some of them are actually new just comers, and many others are still just coming and will be coming, and they will never stop coming. The bottom line is, whether it's the ones that were originally living among us, or the ones that came recently, or the ones that came a little while further back, maybe a few decades or whatever, they have to come to their senses if they really want this matter to be resolved adequately. They cannot want all the lands that are in their vicinity, because other people have rights to some of those lands, and some of those lands are crown lands, belong to the government under the present constitution. Now, if that's part of the land, yes, sir, if that is part of the land that they're asking the government to cede to them, some of the crown land, the government have that power to decide to do that if they want, as part of this settlement. But the Mayan can't dictate the terms of the settlement. That's the prerogative of government. The sooner and the quicker they become aware of that, and that they have to play ball with the government to get this matter resolved, the better off the whole country gonna be.
Thank you.
I'll stop at that,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chairman.
Yeah, thank you, Leonard. Greg, you got 5 minutes there, Greg.
Mr. Chairman, well said, my cousin. Let's not forget that the government cannot give away no land without the people. They must come with a plebiscite. And it's up to the people to decide that. It falls under national security. That is why when government is dealing with more than 500 acres, they must go to where? The house. So I don't know what is the intention of these people, because you heard what the gentleman said. He is not in agreement, no agreement, regardless of what the government would put forward. Because you heard what he said at the last. He and they want all the land that they were occupying and were working on. So he is not speaking about no 1 mile and 2 mile radius. He is talking about.
And they want to define that amount of land for themselves.
Hold on,
The
Leonard.
government can't do that.
Yeah, finish up.
With that said, let's hear it from the minister involved.
Today, our colleagues at CREM got the chance to speak with the Minister of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the Honorable Dolores Balderramos Garcia, regarding the Toledo Alcaldes Association's press release. Yesterday, the TAA issued a press release stating that they are rejecting the government of Belize's new draft Maya customary land policy. According to the TAA, the new proposal includes sections that were not consulted upon and now proposes to only recognize 0.75 to 1.8 miles from the center of the village, depending on size. The Toledo Alcaldes Association claims that the government's approach would leave many of their residential homes unprotected and also fails to recognize and protect their farms. According to Minister Balderramos Garcia, she believes that the claimant, the Toledo Alcaldes Association, is a bit ahead of themselves. She says that the government will be having further consultations with the Mayan communities and reiterates that those drafts weren't written in stone.
24, we must be fully frank. I believe, speaking as Minister for Indigenous Peoples Affairs, that they may be a little ahead of themselves. Absolutely, the government will be consulting further. I must tell you, Marisol, that there have been various iterations and drafts of the Maya customary land tenure policy, and by no means is it written in stone at this moment. However, it lies to government to make proposals that will be consulted And then at the end of the day, when we have a policy that has been consulted, we move to the legislative process. But at no point have we communicated that the door is closed to consultation. And let me jump right into the issue of the radius, or how far from the village center government would maybe recognize the customary land tenure and the communal ownership. That is a proposal. That is a proposal. I don't know where they get miles from, because what is on the table is a proposal in general to have a radius of about 2 kilometers. However, this is a proposal, and it depends on the size of the village. For larger villages, we may have to grant a little bit more. For the smaller villages, maybe that or a little bit less. But again, I have said from the inception of this portfolio, Marisol, that the government is in the difficult position of having to balance competing interests. And so we have to recognize private ownership, and at the same time, we have to do the implementation of the Caribbean Court of Justice order. But I do want to reiterate, I do want to repeat that at no time did we tell anybody that we would not consult on the proposals. But we have had to share what is on the table. The government will not be pushing anything down anybody's throat. But at the same time, in balancing the competing interests, we have to make sure that we respect private land ownership, and at the same time work out the balance of a radius of a particular village.
Hey, Denise here. Thanks for checking out.
Yes.
Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
There you go. There you go. So we tied everything together, right? And then, like I say, as a son of the South, I'm my neighbor Spring again. I've been saying it through this medium and through other shows. I ban on my neighbor Stringberry down there, right? Now you watch the action of that alcalde, right? Man didn't even speak English, right? But you watch the forcefulness, you watch his action, you watch what he said in terms of the translation, and he calling out his area representative. He says that he supported him in the past, so he expect him to support him. So that man is in trouble. That same PUP area representative, he's in trouble. And I've said before, Mr. Espat is also in trouble. The PUP minister, Mr. Mike Espat, he's in trouble too. But sadly, who will they run to? Who will they run to fix this whole mess? But my blame goes directly on this two-party system we have, because they're the one that has us in this predicament, have my people in that predicament down south because of political gerrymandering, right? And political greed, right? And disregarding the livelihood and disrespecting my country people down south. Disrespecting, spit in the face, lie to them continuously, right? Have them now in this predicament. And you hear the alcalde guy, he says they want all. No 1 point something, man. That's what he said. So
I've been saying that for the longest, Mr. Chairman. But people think that when I open my mouth and attack, because I just grandstand or sound eloquent or sound like I know where I'm not supposed to know or where I'm not supposed to understand. But little by little, time.
My brother, my brother, you hear he mentioned some villages. He mentioned some villages, You know who helped manufacture those villages?
Cobaneros.
And you know who facilitate them?
Same parties where we
Because
the talk
they
about
will
just
get
now.
the vote of these
Yeah,
villages.
man, we the talk about just now.
Good. Now, I say this to say that I hope my people eyes are opening, Please open your eyes. And like I said before, Greg shocked me when he showed the map and showed that nearly 3/4 of the southern part of this country,
Covering a circles, huh?
yes, want to be claimed by the Mayans,
Sorry.
right? The so-called occupying Mayans, right? The so-called, like me, I call them so-called Mayan. Let them prove me different for not saying that word so-called. So I say this to say that, again, guys, I through this medium, I appeal to my people in down south to fight for what is theirs. And Mr. Government, at the day, those Mayan alcaldes there, right there in that crowd, just put you between a rock and a hard place. So let's see what you will do. We see what you do up north with the Caneros. I could recall Black Wednesday, as I was part of that security forces at the time, and I see what went down lately and beginning to happen. Let's see what you will do down south. Let's see, to curb a catastrophe, because the way I see it, there are culture against culture down south, right? Which is not right. And this two-party system is the root cause of that. Back to you there, give you there, Leonard. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think the government is trying to appear to be doing what they can, but they're not doing due and have not done due diligence. Otherwise, we will not be this far down the road and in this kind of predicament. Nevertheless, I would like to ask an open question to anybody that's listening to this show or that hears what we're talking about here, or who may think they have the answer to the question. What consultation has the government done with the rest of the people other than the Mayan people to whom they end up in court with? Because the other rest of people never gone to court and never be part of a court accepted consent order. That means that they're not supposed to be consulted, or they are to be left out in the cold, or that the ministry as of right now, as far as I know or I'm concerned, has not stepped in and trying to consult with these other individuals and try to make them a part of the resolution of this process. I'd like for someone, including the minister or anyone from the ministry, to please inform the Belize people or the public. We are trying to do our best. We are not the power brokers or power wielders. So no way can we have or create a resolution to this process. But as Belizeans, we're entitled to have our own ideas, opinions, and communicate with each other and have concern for each other's well-being. And we have the right to ask the government to address or give redress to issues that are our concern. As a concerned Belizean myself, single individual, I have that right to request of my government, like every other Belizean, to inform us and to include us in the process, because at the end of the day, as Greg intimated earlier, it's a national security issue and it deals with granting of mass big portions of land that has to end up going to the House. And because of the real quantity of land that the government may or may not cede as a resolution to this process to those people, because you hear them say it, they want what they want, not what the government want to give them. And like I said before, if they don't get what they want, they may end up taking back the matter to court in order for the court to then give an order, as in the case of a resolution of the case and a final determination and an order from the court. But I could tell the Mayans then that no care where order come from, what court, that order is not superior to the constitution of our country and the powers of the people of the country and or the government of the country, because the court in the Caribbean court addressed that issue when they said the government have the final say in how they go about resolving this matter, but go ahead, we accept the consent decree, go ahead and work it out. But they never tell the Mayan community, who were the one suing the government under bogus pretext that the government was not allowing them a means to subsist. They lied to the court. Their presentation to the court was one of deceit and deceptiveness. So if they go back to court and the court is then allowed to hear the evidence on the defense against the allegation that was made against the government, by the government providing and producing then, first and foremost, the rejection of these people in the community of the government's effort to try and resolve the matter. And secondly, to point out that they do not all have a right to claim. And even if the government was to bend over the barrel, the bottom line is that the government represents the people of the country, not just the Mayan community, and the government have to consult with the rest of the people in the country, especially those who are directly affected in those communities. So I want to ask the government right now on this particular program, please, Mr. and Mrs. Government, or the people who are entrusted with our governance powers, as in regards to Ms. Valderramos, because she's not responsible for the lands. Now, let's get that clear and let the public become aware of the fact. While she may be in charge of the ministry that deals with these people's affairs, she has no powers over the land department. That's not her purview or her portfolio. Please understand that, for clarity's sake. So she has to consult with the Ministry of Lands, and she has to go to cabinet and with the Minister of Lands and the input of the Prime Minister and other ministers, for example, the Attorney General, who has to deal with any and all the legal or head up all the legal matters that will come down to the resolution of this matter on behalf of the government. It's not just Mr. Valderramos involved with this process. So these Mayan people think that they have Mr. Valderramos over a barrel. And then haul and pull and dictate the final term or outcome of this process. They're not being adequately or properly advised, which is why the gentleman, like you said, Mr. Wade, Mr. Chairman, behave like that when they tear up the paper and when they talk and say what they say. They feel empowered. And why? Because the politicians, them under UDP and PUP, have gone there in those communities and promised them how they were going to help them resolve the matter. So these people want it to be resolved, but the details is where the problem lies.
1 more minute there, Leonard.
How the matter gets resolved is based on the details. And in the details, as far as the Mayan community is concerned, unless they could get what they ask for or demand, it's not going to be settled. They don't agree. Just like what Greg said, right? The man said that they don't agree to accept anything less than the lands that they customarily use. And they're going to dictate and demarcate those lands and those areas, which if it amounts to half, 3/4 PG and half or quarter of Stan Creek, then so let it be. Otherwise, the matter will not be resolved. I think I brought that up in one of our previous hearing of this particular subject. These people are being misguided. They are being misled. They are not being given the right interpretation of what the facts are, and they feel empowered, and they're going to play this thing to the hilt.
Thank you.
Let's see what's going to be the outcome.
Thank you.
Are you
Thank
back,
you.
Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Leonard. Well said there, my brother. And I just hope that people are listening, and tune into what's really going on. And just for the record, there are not all the villages in tune to what to what they are claiming. There are not all the villages. So let for the record, right? As they came publicly, Greg played a tape about some of the villagers that came out and say they are not in support of that agenda, no? So just for clarity. You want to close out that subject there, Greg, and let us move on
Yes,
to the sugar. Say something on that.
Mr. Chairman, I believe, as my cousin said, and we all know as Belizean, there is a court ruling to respect the Mayan land claim. But I want the people at home and abroad to remember that court ruling only applies to ownership, not to Johnny come lately. This is why I said the government has the
Sign right on
power
that.
within
Hope
its
they're
hands.
listening.
The government can simply use the civil asset and unexplained wealth bill to find out who owns what. Because if you recall, the changes has come where you will have to prove that you own it. So why not put it into effect within the claims of the Mayan? And also, I hold both past and present government accountable. Because if it is left to me, I would love to ask the people of Belize to go to a referendum to bring forth and pass and present government, and let's go to the lands department to see how much Guatemaltecan has been issued land and citizenship that is unconstitutional. I am sure that we will find the answer to that, because this is exactly what this gentleman is speaking about. We did a favor for you, and now you must do one back for us, which is to give us all that we are asking for.
Crazy.
But my thing on this is, I believe the government, even though they have the ability to deal with it, does not want to deal with it. I have said this before, and I will say it again tonight. There are elderly people living down south, and like yourself, Mr. Wade, you as well as those people know who are or the Johnny Cumulative that is squatting. When other Belizean people squat on government land, they use force to remove them. So one constitution, one people, one law, why can't they do the same? Because I will play this tape, Mr. Chairman, to prove what I am saying.
To begin the mapping with Conejo, what happened was we trained several guys in using the GPS and using the compass. So when they were being trained, so they can be able to go in the fields to collect the GPS coordinates of their village boundary with their neighboring communities. Doing that, the community of Conejo, the leaders of Conejo had a meeting with the neighboring communities, especially like we have Santa Ana, we have Midway, we have Sunday Wood. Those are the three communities that border Santa Ana, that border Conejo, and whereby that they doing the ground shooting, collecting the data, the coordinates, the most importantly, the leaders from Conejo invite the leaders from the neighboring communities to go along with them in the forest, and they will be able to invite elders of the community as well, so that they can be able to verify where the boundary lines lies, and then to verify that so both of them could be able to agree on if there's a dispute between a village, they can be able to. That's whereby we outsider comes in, and we'll be able to get the leaders, have meetings, and so far I haven't seen anything that have disputed between that villages. No, for example, they knew the areas for before, and the reason why they invite elders of the community is because some village leaders are like younger people.
As I said, Mr. Chairman, the proof is in the pudding. Why don't the MLA want that to happen? Why don't they want these people to go in with elders who knows who was living there? This problem can be solved. And then you are making demands, but you are not paying taxes. And then you want people to ask for consent, but you also want to come in to our town and get supplies. And nobody you are not asking consent for. What if the people, we the people of Belize say, you know what? The Mayans can't come to Sand Creek, they can't come into PD Town, they can't go nowhere else but stay on what they call their communal land. How would they feel? They can't use nothing of us, not our clinic, nothing. What will they do? And you know what? The Mayan people is the chicken bone in the Prime Minister's throat, as Netanyahu is the chicken bone in President Biden's throat. They are both calling the shots. You will not tell me what you will propose. I want it all.
Thank you.
Turn the floor back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Greg. You wanted to say something, Leonard?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Like I said, it's a very easy process. I've said it over and over. And I am not the only one that thinks the way I think. Because you have professional surveyors, you have top surveyors, people in the surveyor department, you have people who have knowledge and understanding and who have been out in the field enough and who have theoretical knowledge as well as actual field knowledge about how to go about resolving these matters. It doesn't even come down to the point of asking these people what is it they want, for them to tell you what they want, and then they want more than we will get in, and then they argue about, well, how they are convinced you to get in when they want. You don't even have to come down to that. The bottom line is that if I'm going to put on my tactical and strategic mindset now, right? On the hat. The government wants to know exactly how to resolve this thing and how far to go with this process. All I have to do, check in at the archives of the country, the mapping of the country, all the different surveys in the survey in the lands department, because you have from the whole boundaries of Belize, all the lands within the boundaries of Belize have been surveyed. Others have been detracted from or taken off pieces from the old colonial days in the what you call the Crown lands system. Some in small pieces, and some, like I said, I think the last show or on a show before, in one case where one company was able to get or acquire 500,000 acres. Then everybody get 500,000 acres of land, I believe, because of the size of the country. But there's quite a few people who have gotten not that much, but close to that much. We have one deal that was just cut the other day. When the government was about to change, the UDP was in the process of completing the deal, and the PUP came in and cut the deal and took the credit for it and blamed that the UDP couldn't do it, and they were able to successfully do it. Hundreds of thousands of acres of land again. So from the boundaries of we country inwards towards the center of the country, all the lands have been surveyed, and whatever is owned by anybody by title absolute, whether big corporations or big land owners, or small corporations or medium-sized or small corporations or small land owners, or whether it's just a house lot in our village, in our town, or in our city, they all have documents that follows how that land was cut up and issued. And that's an ongoing process, because a lot of people have got big tract of land, constantly they cut up their land to sell lots on. All the government have to do, go to the lands department, collect them documents there, whatever is relevant for the area that they're talking about or want to deal with at any given time. Okay? Collect the elections and boundaries, collect the documents that determine who was eligible to vote and not vote at any given time in the old days then. That will tell them what villages existed then compared to the villages that exist now. They'll be able to determine how old those villages and within what parameter of time those villages are justifiably claimed to be a true village with the right to have extra land attached to that village. Because what's going on right now is a land grab. Then they make new villages every day, and then they expand and expand and expand outward from where they're supposed to be. Every time they create a new village, that one extra amount of mileage beyond that they could claim as their customary land rights. Now, mind you, they never made use it, and they not still use it, but the customary is the key. They could claim, oh, well, we don't use it now, or we haven't used it recently, but we have always used it in the past, even though the thing grew up and show vegetation there that has not been disturbed for hundreds of years. They want to claim it as their customary land rights. That is, okay, they haven't cut it down, they haven't used it. You can't walk through if you go cut no survey line to get through there to issue it out. As the young man they were showing just now in the clip where Greg will play. They can't get to the areas then.
One more minute there.
So they have, and then besides that, the government could go to the census department, pick up the census information for that particular area as well. That will tell them who are living where and how much people are living there. When did the population expand beyond that of natural birthing? Go to the land, the registry, pick up all the information about births and deaths, and do a demographic analysis of the population of those areas. That will tell you and show you who came across as grown-ups, who were born there as little kids, and who grew up there as little kids to become grown-up, and who deserve one piece of land for their farm pan to make them could subsist. So they have mechanisms, and these are only a few of the things that I point out. There are a lot of other ways by which the government could go about doing its due diligence and arrive at a consensus as to all this bamboozling process that these people they try to play upon away. They think that we don't know or we don't have no ability. They don't understand that there are people who know how to deal with these things. But anyway,
thank you. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Leonard. I hope that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, to my question. You recall what I just said when I played that tape? That they are the chicken bone in the Prime Minister's throat. It's election time. So if they don't give them what they want, you know what the answer will be, right? Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Sadly, guys,
Another
on
15
that
minutes, Mr. Chairman.
on that note, let's touch quickly on another pressing issue that our people are facing right now in the shortage of sugar. Quickly, right? Greg, you want to put something up there? And
the Santander Sugar Group is claiming that their company has a solution to immediately remedy the sugar shortage in Belize. For the past few weeks, we have been reporting on the country's shortage of white sugar. According to ASRBSI, the company that provides local sugar to Belizeans, the shortage is not due to production issues, but rather smuggling issues. Belize has the cheapest price of sugar in the region, so wholesalers, instead of selling the sugar in Belize, are believed to be smuggling the sugar across the country's border to get more profit on the sold sugar. Today, Santander issued a press release stating that their 2024 harvesting season has been without any hitches, and they can provide sugar to the local market if they are granted a quota by the local authorities. According to Beverly Burke, the public relations manager at Santander, Santander isn't allowed to sell sugar locally, but due to the prolonged shortage, they feel that they are in a prime position to fill the gap.
We're saying that we are prepared to come to the table but officially a long-term position. As you are aware, Santander is not allowed to sell its sugar on the local market. Listening to the interviews that I've heard thus far, I believe that we're looking at a prolonged problem in terms of the country being faced with shortage. If that is indeed so, we are prepared to fill that gap. It simply cannot be a phone call at the 9th hour, however, because the sugar that we produce, in the absence of any agreement locally, it's exported. So when we're called upon in November, December, of course we won't have any sugar then because none was earmarked for the local market. However, if we go to the table and a decision is derived, then we can ensure that that sugar is available for local consumption. If it is that
well,
didn't we say
thank
that,
you.
Mr. Chairman? Didn't we say that on our show before? More than once. Sorry, sir, you were about to say something and I interjected.
No, go ahead.
Can I go after you? Go ahead, sir. No, please.
Greg, thank you for playing that. Tape. This is something that we had insinuated before. Why can't Santander fill in the gap? And we see how the different scenario plays out. There was a letter sent to the Belizean administration for permission. There was a letter sent back rejecting, while the people suffer, right? So they rather import something that we should not be doing.
Twice the price. Twice the
price.
Crazy.
Right? Now we got to find out who the profit. Who the profit? That's a good question. And sadly, like I say, the people in the take lick because of an incompetent government. Incompetent. Go ahead, Leonard. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This issue with the sugar, for example, if the government had any, I got to measure myself. I'm trying not to overstate. Okay, but let me say, let me say exactly what I'm going through my mind. If the government was thinking about helping the country as a government of the country, they would not have negotiated any extra agreement, side deals with BSR, ASI. Okay? They would never have negotiated any extra with this current situation unresolved. Because while they dance around and force this matter to not be resolved, then they can keep us over the barrel and keep stretching out that agreement for as long as they want, to make as much money as they want off of we people suffering and misery. The government was not smart in making that kind of agreement with them in the first place. And they were stupid to have made the agreement, knowing that the way to pressure that company to settle properly with we Cañeros them would have been to go ahead and use the powers of this, the policies of state, which is the prerogative of government, to alter Santander's agreement or modify it temporarily for an emergency purpose. I know and understand the reason why they try to keep Santander out of the local market. Why? Because the local Cañeros then benefit off of the local sales and the local situation will be ESR, BSI. The local Cañeros don't benefit off any of the cane that the Santander they grow on their own, harvest on their own, mechanized harvesting, and process on their own. And if the government was to allow them to take over and provide the sugar locally, that would be sabotaging the Cañeros them. So I understand that process and that reason or rationale. But in a time of an emergency, and that emergency being created by what they know or what they're saying was the case, people sending the sugar out of the country illegally, the government have a way of finding out who those people are that are selling the sugar out of the country are as well.
1 more minute there. 1 more minute, Leonard.
Because BSI, ESR have receipts as to who they sell sugar in bulk or mass amount of sugar. In other words, the brokers then. And those brokers have to keep receipt, buy and sell when they buy from ESR, BSI, and when they sell to whoever they sell as the secondary markets them. And then the secondary markets have to have the receipts to who they sell to and who buy from them, or who they buy from. And so if the government was doing its proper job and collecting its collecting its revenue from the sale of sugar or any other commodity, as we have been telling them over and over on this particular show, that they're not collecting and going about collecting the money that is being taken from the people under GST. The government is not receiving all this GST money. Otherwise, the government could have tell you the who the selling thing from each stage along the process and where you end up gone.
Thank you. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you. Go ahead, Greg. You
Lock
got
up
3
some
minutes.
Lock up some there. Make some there.
That's why they need to go. Greg, you got 3 minutes there, Greg.
You're going to happen again.
Mr. Chairman, I hate to say this. Nothing is at bar when this country is in a state of emergency. The government could have simply enact its powers under the Constitution and go ahead and let Santander sell the sugar to the Belizean people. That's a fact.
Instead of charging twice as much.
I know it, and there's a lot of individuals out there that know that. And I will tell you why. The proof is in the pudding. I believe it was done under a legalized conspiracy. Because when we were having this problem, sugar was in mail truck, sugar was in truck, going different area. So if they did not have, how could sugar could be transported via a mail truck and another truck? I see it as legalized conspiracy.
Lock them both down.
That's my closing, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. You know,
can I take 1 more minute there, Mr. Chairman, and then you
go ahead,
use the
1
rest?
more minute. Yeah.
Go ahead, before that, Greg, while I take the 1 minute, could you find Mr. Weird thing, please? So we play it before the show is up.
Go ahead with the 1 more minute there.
Greg, you understand where the transfer?
My people and residents of the Twin Tongue, my name is Roody Wade. I will be contesting the upcoming municipal election again. I humbly ask you, the residents of the Twin Tongue, for your support once more. I am the only change. You have supported the United Democratic Party in the past. You have supported the People's United Party in the past. And you have seen the ills, for change. If you want that change, I am the only change that will be on that ballot. So come March 2024, please give me your support for real change. I am for people and nation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Take that
Well
1
said,
minute
Mr.
there.
Chairman.
Take that 1 minute there, Leonard.
Yes, sir. I want to use the minute for what I wanted to use it for, because it's not really. I'm more interested in your candidacy, and therefore I need to spend a minute on just congratulating you first and foremost for having the temerity. How dare you want to challenge the PUP and the UDP and do better than they are doing? How dare you, Mr. Reid? But I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to be funny. I've
been asked that question, Leonard. Honestly, I swear, I've been asked that question.
Don't even dignify the question. Don't even dignify the question.
Yeah.
Because everybody, I believe, know what's been happening to our country, and all of them the ball, including the UDP the ball about what the PUP they do, and some PUP the ball about what the UDP they do and what the PUP they do. Among themselves right now, even in a cabinet, the rascals then they quarrel over the cheese. Okay? So to you, Mr. Wade, I would like to say this. More power to you, sir. May God bless you. And I wish that you can have the privilege to be given the opportunity to serve your country, so people in our country could see what other people could do for our country, as compared to allowing themselves to be hauled and pulled and bamboozled for a couple dollars. And then when they put them in a power, you don't hear from them anymore. We need a new set of leaders in our country. And Mr. Wade, I'm grateful to have had the privilege to meet you, to have learned and known about you, and to have sat on these different platforms that we have sat on before and now, and advocate on behalf of the people. Nobody has given you a penny to do the things that you do. As a matter of fact, you have done what you have done on your own dime. And we don't have too many people like that in Belize who are willing to do that. Because most of them, when they get into politics, they go into politics and they don't got a bicycle for a ride, they don't got 2 nickels for rope together. And when they get into politics, they come out as millionaire. And so on, they come out as stinking multi-millionaire, as a matter of fact. Okay?
Thank you.
So thanks for the acquaintance, the privilege to get to know you. And God is strong, sir. Keep up the good work, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, guy. And like I say, we are about people and nation, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company, your Gregory company, and you, Leonard. Hey, I couldn't have found, anybody better to sit with and have a discourse and bring to the nation truth, what is really going on, and we are not afraid to speak it out. We are not afraid to advocate, and we are not afraid to call a spade, right? So it's always a pleasure. And to our viewers and listeners, both at home and abroad, those who support us by texting, by talking to us, I want to thank them. May God continue to bless them and continue to give us that support. Right? On that note.
Ancestors, them get glory. After war and fight for this land, today I feel proud to be Belizean. And every time I walk through the streets, I feel so blessed, so good and so free. And every time my foot touch the beach, I feel so at peace, thanking God for my country. And I don't know how it make you feel when the breeze such a fracas, you start to